ॐ
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना
ॐ
भवतु
सहना भवतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु
सह
सह
वीर्यं
करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
विद्विषावहै।
विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति
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 शान्तिः।
शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत्। ॐ नमः शिवाय।
Om
ॐ
Tat
नमः
Sat, Om
शिवाय।
Namah Shivaya.
Okay, so we had completed the seventh mantra of the fourth chapter. So now we are on the fourth adhyaya, second adhyaya, fourth section. 247 we completed. This is 248. So yatha shankasya
स यथा शङ्कस्य
dhamayamanasya.
Dhamayamanasya
धमायमानस्य
May I request whoever it is talking to please switch off their mic. Okay, sorry, we'll start again. So yatha shankasya
स यथा शङ्कस्य
धमायमानस्य
धमायमानस्य
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शुक्नुयात्
न
Nabhayam
भयान्
Shabdam
शब्दान् शक्नुयात्
ग्रहणाय शङ्खस्य तु ग्रहणेन
ग्रहणाय
Grahanaya
शङ्कस्य तु
Shankasya
ग्रहणेन
शङ्खद्मस्य वा शब्दो गृहीतः.
शङ्खद्मध्यस्य
Shankadmasya
वा शब्दो गृहीतः
Grihita.
So we'll read the ninth mantra also together. स यथा वीणैः
स यथा
Sayatha
वीणैः
वाद्यमानायै
वाद्यमानायै
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात्.
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात्
Shaknuya.
I'll just mute that person 1 second. Whoever has got the iPhone, will you please mute yourself? Okay. So we'll start that again. Sayatha veenaya vadhyamanaya
स यथा वीणायै वाद्यमानाय
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात्
न बाह्यान् शब्दान् शक्नुयात्
ग्रहणाय वीणायै
ग्रहणाय वीणायै
तु ग्रहणेन वाणिवादस्य
तु ग्रहणेन वाणिवादस्य
वा शब्दो गृहीतः.
वा शब्दो गृहीतः
So the logic which we saw in the earlier mantra, in the seventh mantra, is to be extended here. So here we have the conch, that is Shankha, and the Veena. And what is the conclusion is that anything Visheshaha, specific, can exist only in the presence of the existence of the Samanyam general, right? And therefore, what happens? The Vishesha is always dependent upon the Samanyam. And we know the logic that if anything is dependent, it's a mithya. Therefore, Samanyam here is the Satyam and Vishesha is the mithya. Right? So the general sound is the Satyam and the specific sound of the conch or the veena or the drum, those are the Visheshas, the mithya. Now you have to take this example of the sound and extend it to the world. So when you say that there is a man, or there is a lady, or there is a car, in all these perceptions, we know by now that what is generally grasped is the isness principle, the existence principle, right? So man has also got existence principle. Woman also exists because of the existence principle. Therefore, you cannot grasp anything specific without the general, which is the existence principle itself. So this general existence is, or otherwise, nirvishesha satta. That is general existence. With that alone, with the background of that alone, will you be able to grasp the specific existence, the vishesha satta. Therefore, existence is general and objects in the world are the vishesham, the particular. Therefore, the general existence is satyam and the object itself, the particular existence is mithya. Right? So, look at it from another point of view. When you experience or when you look at a man, experience a man, you have what? Man jnanam. When you experience a lady, you have lady jnanam. But what is the common between both? Between the man jnanam and the lady jnanam? Jnanam is common, and jnanam is the isness, the existence principle, the non-specific principle which has to be there in and through all your experiences. So that non-specific awareness is basically samanya nirvishesha jnanam is satyam. That means all general existence is satyam and all specific existence, vishesha jnanam, is mithya. So you can look at jnanam here also is the same as satyam, as existence. So you can also say samanya nirvishesha jnanam. The knowledge of the general is always satyam, and vishesha jnanam, the knowledge of the specifics, the objects, are always mithya. Right? Therefore, what is the conclusion? Every experience involves the experience of the general, and the general is Atma, right? Therefore, how can you say that every experience involves experience of Atma? Because when I say this is a glass, the glass Namarupa is the Vishesha, the specific. What is the general?
Is.
Is. The glass is the Samanya Nirvishesha. Therefore, Atma is always evident. Why? Because without Atma, nothing else can become evident. And the problem is what? This always evident Atma, this always experienced Atma, people want to experience. They say Atma Anubhava I need. Not knowing that in every experience that they have, they are experiencing Atma always. Without that Atma experience, you cannot have any other experience. And there are some darshanas who will say, okay, we need to, go to Samadhi to experience Atma, right? What does Shruti say? Every particular experience is mithya. It is only the awareness of you yourself as the general experience that is Atma. So this non-specific experience, which is the Nirvishesha Atma, is available in all the avasthas. The difference being that in Jagrata Avastha and Swapna Avastha, you have Nirvishesha experience also, and you have Vishesha experience also. But it's only in Sushupti Avastha you have Nirvishesha experience. But in Sushupti Avastha, a particular object experience is not there. But even when that is not there, even at that point of time, the non-specific consciousness, Nirvishesha Chaitanyam, is always there. So what is it being said? Without the existence of without the presence of the Atma, there can be nothing which can exist. And therefore here, Atma is what? The Upadana Karanam, the Sthiti Karanam. This is the meaning of the two mantras. Any questions? Okay. We go to the 10th mantra, 2, 4, 10. स यथा आद्र इदम अग्ने
Sayatha Namahi
स यथा आर्द्र इधम अग्नेः स यथा आर्द्र इधम अग्नेः
यथा आर्द्र इत्म अग्निः
अव्याहितात् पृथक् धूमा विनिश्चरन्ति एवं वा
Acharya ji, this
अव्याहितात् पृथक्
yes
धूमा
where
that verse.
what happened
this whatever you
In this
chanted.
text, 2:4:10 is missing in the text which we have.
All of us seems
Oh.
to be.
It starts with sa yatha sarvasamapam samudra ekayanam.
That is
After
This
2:4:9,
2, 4, 10
perhaps
is not there.
not there.
that is missing.
all right, so let me just give you a photo of that. Okay, everything has a problem, everything has a solution.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll just give you a photo one second. Okay, have you got it? It's on the group.
Yes, Acharya, we get it.
All right. Everybody got it?
Yes.
Ji.
All right, so we start. Saha yatha ardra idma agneः
Saha yatha ardra idma agne
अव्यहितात् पृथक् धूमा
abhyahitat prathak dhuma
विनिश्चरन्ति एवं वा अरे
Vinishcharanti
nishcharanti evam vare
अस्य महतो भूतस्य
asya mahato bhutasya
निश्वसि
Asya
निश्वसितम् एतत्
Nishvasitame
nishvasitam
यदृग्वेदो यजुर्वेद सामवेदो अथर्वाङ्गिरसः
Yagradvedo
vedo samavedo atharvagnirasa
इतिहासपुराणं विद्या
Itihasa
itihasa purana vidya
Purana
उपनिषदः लोकाः सूत्राणि
upanishada slokaha sutrani
अनुव्याख्याख्यानानि
anuvyakhyakyanani
व्याख्यानानि
व्याख्यानानि
अस्यैवेतानि
अस्यैवेतानि
निश्वसितानि.
निश्वसितानि.
Okay. So, in the last three mantras, what was established? That Atma is the Sthiti Karanam. Right? It's the Upadana Karanam. So, here in this mantra, it is being established that Atma is the Srishti Karanam also. So, the whole creation arises out of Atma, not that Atma is sustaining creation. And for this purpose, another example is given. In fact, the entire fourth Brahmanam is an extremely important section with a lot of very many important mantras. So, what is the example here? Supposing you have some wet wood. When you burn that wet wood, it might take some effort, of course, but when the wood finally catches fire, it burns with a lot of smoke and all, right? But what it is saying is that even in that wet wood, which is now burning, the potential fire was already there. You understand? Why do we say that? See, as the smoke comes out of the wet wood, everything that is there is being burnt. But the question
Because
being
it is the
asked,
very nature
it
of
is
wood. It is
it
the
is
very
the
nature of wood to get it burned.
To burn when fire is in contact, right? But the question being asked is, before the wood was burnt, where was the sparks and the smoke and the fire? Was it outside the wood or potentially inside the wood?
Potentially inside the wood itself.
That is because from the something which is not existing, an existing thing cannot come. What is the Vada called?
Ajativad.
Vada.
Not Ajativada.
Uh,
Asatkarya, right? This is called
Asat.
Asatkarya. What is not there cannot come to manifestation. So if fire has come to manifestation, smoke has come to manifestation, sparks are coming, they must all have been potentially there in the wood. And when they manifest, that manifestation scenario is what we call burning. Okay, this is the example. Similarly, he says that in that Atma, which is unmanifest, in the unmanifest avyakta Atma, the entire Vyakta Srishti is already present in an unmanifest form. And when the time comes, the universe is born out of Atma alone. So remember, don't suddenly stand up and say, no, no, nothing is born. Mandukya Upanishad says all those things. Okay, this is different. Here it is a presentation that you can always understand it as Atma Satyam and Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya is always there. But here we are looking at the actual manifestation. So and remember, both are not Satyam. Even when I say that universe is born out of Atma, it is the Mithya universe being born out of Atma. That's a separate discussion. And that is why Upanishad says that even the Vedas are born out of Atma. Now the question here is, how do you say that Vedas are born out of Atma? So the explanation here is that Veda should be understood as a Upalakshanam for the entire universe. What is Upalakshanam?
A representative that
For every
something which represents the
The representative, no, it's a representative thing. Like when you say Shadvikara, you take the first one. Or when you say Shamadhi Shamadhi Shatpatati, that you say that Shama is the Upalakshanam for the other three. Similarly. So the question here is, how do you say Veda is Upalakshanam for the whole universe? And Shankara gives the logic. So follow the logic very carefully. Veda is what? Words. Right? Veda is Shabda Prapancha, the world of words. Right? Now, the thing is that when you say Shabda, we use another word, okay? Padam for Shabda. Padam also means word. So Veda is Padam Prapancha. Now the question being asked is, whenever you use a word, Padam, what do you use it for? Supposing I say glass. Glass is a word. What is represented by that word?
The manifestation of the glass.
The actual physical object, the glass, right? So you cannot use a word without connecting it to an object. Like in this case, the glass is the pada and the padartha, the pada artha, the meaning of the word pada, right? Pada artha means if the glass is padam, then the artha of glass is the object glass, physical object glass. Therefore, whenever you use a word, you always have in your mind the object represented by that word. Therefore, padam is always used together with the padartha. You cannot separate the two. The moment you say padam, the padartha comes into your mind. Otherwise, words will have no meaning at all. You get what I am saying? I hope you do.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
Acharya.
Acharya.
Right. If I say this is a cat, cat is only a word on your tongue, right? Billy. What should come into your mind immediately? The cat itself, the object cat. Therefore, the vak cannot be separated from the vak artha. Padam cannot be separated from padartha. Vak cannot be separated from vak artha. Shabda cannot be separated from shabdartha. And therefore, whenever you say Shabda Prapancha is born, remember that by saying Shabda Prapancha, you are also including the Shabdartha Prapancha. All the objects of all the words are included in when you say Shabda Prapancha. And therefore, when I say that Akasha is born from Atma, there are two things. The sound Akasha, the word Akasha, Akasha Shabda is born out of Atma. What else is born out of Atma? The logic has to be closely followed. When I say, Taittiriya says, right, Akasha is born out of Brahman or Atma. So it is not enough to say that Akasha, the object, the entity is born out of Atma. You also have to say the Akasha, the word is born out of Atma. Is it not?
Yes.
Therefore, whenever you say Akasha is born from Atma, two things have to be clearly understood. The Akasha word, the Akasha Shabda is born from Atma, and the Akasha Padartha is also born out of Atma. Similarly, Vayu Padaha, Vayu Padarthaha, Agni Padaha, Agni Padarthaha, all these are born out of Atma alone. And all words together are born out of Atma, and therefore the entire objects are also born out of Atma. Therefore, since Veda is Shabda Prapancha and Shabdartha Prapancha is also born out of Atma, in short, Veda and Prapancha are both born out of Atma. Please remember to ask immediately when you don't understand. Going back and coming back is going to make not only you confused, it will confuse the others also, and perhaps confuse me also. Right? So the moment, that's why I'm going very slow. The moment something is not understood, just ask. Okay. So there is one more idea here. When Shruti says the entire Veda is born out of Atma, an example is given. Just as the pranavayu comes out of the jiva, how jiva inhales prana, exhales prana. So the pranavayu is exhaled by the jiva. Similarly, the Veda is exhaled by Ishvara. Veda is what over here? The entire. When you say
Shabda.
Shabda Prapancha and Shabdartha Prapancha.
Mm.
Okay, in short, the whole
Jagat.
universe comes out of Ishvara. Now, what is the purpose of using this example? Just as the jiva exhales the prana, the vayu is exhaled by the jiva. Similarly, the universe is exhaled by Ishvara. What is the idea here? That idea is there are two important ideas. One is effortlessness, right? You are not always focusing on the fact that you are breathing out, excepting maybe when you are doing pranayama. So there is anayasa. Anayasa means no effort, right? Remember, if breathing is a willful action involving effort, what is the problem?
We'll be tired.
No, no. That, of course. Apart from that, what is the problem?
Sometimes we will not have the will to breathe.
Will
When
not
you,
be able to concentrate on other things.
correct. So when you are doing pranayama, can you read a book? Can you cook? Can you do anything else?
No.
Because pranayama is effortful breathing. You are involving your will in that inhalation, exhalation, 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. And therefore, the idea here is that it is not that kind of breathing. Ishvara doesn't concentrate and say, let me breathe out the world. It is like normal breathing. When you are relaxing, watching TV, reading a book, sleeping, the exhalation and inhalation you don't know at all. You don't feel it. Therefore, there is no effort involved. The first important idea is in the creation of the universe, there is no effort involved by Ishvara. Therefore, anayasa. Just as we are not aware of the breathing, in the same way, Jagat Srishti, Ishvara Srishti, is effortless for the Lord. That is the first idea. And the second idea is our breathing is a cyclic process. You inhale, you exhale, you inhale, you exhale, you inhale, you exhale. As long as you're alive, there is no beginning and no end. Right? As long as the body is alive, this goes on. And therefore, this universe is also cyclic. The Lord is not this is a very interesting point, Ishvara is not the creator of the Vedas. That is, in this case, the Veda means what? Shabda Prapancha and Shabdartha Prapancha. It has always been there continuously. What happens is that inhalation and exhalation goes on. So it disappears during Pralayam and manifests during Srishti. There is no creation involved at all. Bhagavan does not create the Srishti. His job is to make it Vyaktam and make it Avyaktam. So Ishvara's job is only manifestation and the disappearance, unmanifestation, if you want to call it, of the Vedas. And the Veda, of course, being the Shabda Prapancha and the Shabdartha Prapancha, the entire universe. Okay. Any questions? All right. In that case, let us look at this is the background of the mantra, the explanation of the mantra. We look at the actual words. Yaha saha yatha ardhra idham agnehe. So ardhra is wet. Edaha is the fuel, in this case the wood. So just as the fire in the wet wood, abhyahitat. So abhyahitat means well kindled, strongly kindled, burning strongly. In that wet wood, which is finally kindled, which begins to burn, just as the fire in that wet wood.
இப்படி மோர்ந்து பாரு தாரவாட வருதான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல.
Okay, right. I will just come back. Sorry, I have to mute that person. So just as the fire in the wet wood emerges from that wet wood, which is burning now, similarly, pratag dhumaha vinashranti, smoke also emerges. Evam va are. In the same manner, who's are? Are means what over here?
It's an exclamation.
Remember that one lady is being, addressed by the word are.
Maitri.
Maitri. So, evam va are. In the same manner, O Maitri, asya mahato bhutasya nishvasitame. This entire creation, asya mahato bhutasya, the entire massive creation, nishvasitame. Nishvasita is what? Nishvasaha. What is Nishwasaha?
Exhale.
Exhalation. So this entire creation is the exhalation. Mahato bhutasya of the great being. Bhuta here is being, or the Atma. Therefore, the entire creation is the exhalation of this infinite Atma. And that creation consists of what all things? Rigvedaha, Yajurvedaha, Samavedaha, Atharvangirasaha, Itihasaha, Puranam, Vidya, Upanishadaha, Lokaha, Sutrani, etc. Okay. Now, before we jump to conclusions, normally the word Itihasa means what? Which texts?
No,
The
it is
the great
They
epics,
refer to historical.
Ramayana.
Beg your pardon?
Normally, itihasa refers to historical texts.
No, but when we say Itihasa and Vedanta, what are the texts?
Not in Vedanta.
Vedanta also we use the word Itihasa. On Shastram, let us say, use the word Itihasa. What are the texts?
Mahabharata, Ramayana.
That's it. Ramayanam and Mahabharata are called Itihasa. So I'm going word by word. Okay, Itihasa word is there. So I'm telling you that because that is a normal meaning, but the meaning is different. So we'll come to that. And the word Puranam, it means what? Similarly, no, it's not trick question at all. What does the word Puranam mean when in Shastram when we talk?
Moral uplifting stories.
No, there are many Purana. There are 18 Puranams. Bhagavatam, Bhagavata Purana, Markandeya Purana, all these things. Okay. So normally the word Itihasa means Ramayana and Mahabharata, but the word Purana means those 18 Puranas, Bhagavatam, Markandeya Puranam, all those things, right? But here the two names, Itihasa and Purana, refer to different parts of the Veda. Okay. And Shankara says that this meaning has to be taken from Shankara only. Shankara says that Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda, they indicate the Veda's mantra bhagaha. Right? And Itihasa and Puranas, they are not Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that, but they refer to the Brahmana bhaga of the Veda. Okay? Veda is divided into how many parts? If anybody still remembers. Not Yajur, Rig, Sama, Atharvana.
Four.
Each of them is divided into what?
4 parts.
Into?
Samhita, Brahmana, Samhita,
Yeah.
Aranyaka, and Upanishad.
And Upanishad. Right. Fine. The 4 of them. So here he is saying that the word Itihasa and Purana refer to the Brahmana bhaga. And the words Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, they are indicating the mantra bhaga, the Samhita portion. So this all we have to just take it because Shankara is saying so, right? And when you look at the Brahmana bhaga of the Vedas and this mantra, you will be totally confused. Because this Brahmana bhaga is divided into 8 portions. Itihasa, Puranam, Vidya, Upanishad, Slokas, Sutrani, Anuvakyani and Vyakhyayani. Vyakhyayani. This is the classification given in the mantra. And he says this is basically the Brahmana bhaga of the Vedas. So there are 4 mantra bhagas, which is what? Yajur, Rig, Sama, Atharvana. And there are 8 Brahmana bhagas, Itihasa, Puranam, Vidya, Upanishad, Sloka, Sutrani, Anuvakyani and Vyakyanani. Right. Are you with me so far?
Yes, Acharya.
Everybody is
Yes.
all up to me.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Then, so this whole Veda is born out of the breathing of Ishvara. And why does Shankara interpret in this peculiar manner? He gives a logic. There is only one thing which has originated from Paramatma, Veda alone. And Vedas are what? That's why we call them a Paurusheya Grantaha. We say these are not from human hands. The Shruti is not from human hands, whereas the others, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., they are all born out of human intellect. Right? This is the logic. And what is the Ashtavida Brahmanaha? The 8 parts of the Brahmanaha. So, Itihasa refers to the story portions of the Brahmana. So, in the Brahmanam itself, there are story portions also. So, Shankara says the Itihasa refers to those story portions. We are talking about the Brahmana, right? Brahmana part of the Vedas. Within the Brahmana part of the Vedas, there are 8 divisions. And the first one, Itihasa, refers to the story portions. The second one, Puranas, refer to the creation portion, the Srishti portion of creation, where the origination of the world is talked about. Because Purana, the word itself means ancient. So whatever happened long, long ago is Purana. And what happened long, long ago? Creation. Srishti happened. Therefore, Srishti is called Puranam over here. Right? Then Vidya. So Shankara says there are various arts. Vidya here is knowledge, all right, but not Vedantic knowledge. It is the knowledge of the performing arts known by the Devas. And they are mentioned in the Vedas, like dance is there, Gandharvas, music is there, which are all supposed to be, all Devas supposed to be experts in those Vidyas. So this is what Vidya refers to, the performing dance, music, etc., which are known by the Devas. An Upanishad here does not mean the regular Upanishad which we are studying, but he says it is a Rahasya Namadheyam. Rahasya means secret. Namadheyam is the name. Therefore, the secret names of Atma which appear in the Upanishad. I hope you remember Satyasya Satya. We said it was a Namadheyam. Right? Also, somewhere you will find that the word Priyam is used for Atma. Normally, the word Priyam is used for a spouse, either the husband or the wife. But when it is used for Atma, it is a secret name. Therefore, Priya is the Rahasya Namadheyam for the Atma. Okay, that's the 4. Then the 5th one, the Shlokas. The Shlokas are the mantras quoted in the Brahmana portion of the Vedas. And we saw in Taittiriya Upanishad, whenever the mantra was quoted, it would be preceded by what? Tadapyesha
Iti.
sloko bhavati. Remember? Tadapyesha sloko bhavati. In this context, there is the following sloka. So that is a quotation from the Brahmana portion. That's the 5th one. And the 6th one is Sutrani. Multiple sutras, the cryptic statements, which contain the entire teaching of Vedanta. Like for example, Brahmavit apnoti param. Taittiriya Upanishad. Then you saw 2 sutras in this particular Upanishad, Vidya Sutram and the Avidya Sutram. These are all referred to under Sutranis. Right? So what is cryptic about these 2 sutras? Avidya is the understanding that I and Ishvara are different. Vidya is the understanding that I and Ishvara are the same. So such cryptic statements contain the entire Vedantic teachings of the Vedas. So it should not, here the word Sutram is not referring to Brahma Sutras. That is 6. Then number 7 is Anuvyakyanani. Explanations of the mantras. So Vyakhyanam means elaboration. Explanations of the mantras which are appearing in the Sutra Bhagaha. Like Brahmavid Apnoti Param. That is appearing in Sutra Bhagaha. And the entire explanation is on that. So Taittiriya Upanishad, the last portion is Anuvakyanam. That is to say, an expansion or elaboration of Brahmavid Apnoti Param. The entire second chapter of this Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we saw, I said, is a Anuvyakyanam on the Vidya Sutra. That is Anuvyakyani. So Anuvyakyani, remember, explanations of the mantras which are there in the Sutra Bhaga. And what is Vyakhyani? Vyakhyani is the elaboration of the mantras, expansion of the mantras, explanation of the mantras occurring in the Brahmana Bhaga. Difference. Anuvyakhyani is explanation of the Sutra Bhaga mantras. Vyakhyani, explanation of Brahmana Bhaga mantras. Okay. Right. And then Asyaivaitani Nishvasitani. All these mantras, the 4 mantra bhagas and the 8 Brahmana bhagas are Nishvasitani, are like the breath of Saguna Brahman Ishvara. So Ishvara is the cause of the Shabda Prapancha and also the cause of the Artha Prapancha. Therefore, Ishvara is Sarva Srishti Karana. So we have covered the Ishvara as Sthiti Karanam and Srishti Karanam. The next one is Laya Karanam. That comes in the next mantra. Any questions so far? No? Okay, so with this we'll stop for today because the next month is a larger one and we need more time and I would like to do the whole thing in one flow. So if there are no questions, we'll stop for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti
Om
Shanti
Shanti Shanti
Shanti
Shanti.
Om
Om
Tat Sat
Namah
Om Namah
Shivaya.
Shivaya.
Om
Thank you for your
Om
patience. Om
Thank you,
Om.
Thank you,
Acharya ji.
Acharya ji.